All right, let's take a look now at the perspective tool. The perspective tool is brand new, free for all users, and actually really easy to use. Keep in mind that any of the CONDOC tools operating properly is completely dependent on proper layering and model organization. So if you see something coming up that's not normal, most likely that is the problem, is layering and model organization. So I'm going to open up my CONDOC toolbar. We've already got that up here. Stretch that out, and our perspective tool is that one on the far right. So when I activate the perspective tool, notice that we get that guy standing kind of outside the house. All I have to do is just kind of position myself in here and click once, and that will take a perspective snapshot. So it's taking a it's saving the camera view, but it's setting up all of the correct layers and styles and all that stuff. So let's do one more. We'll click once to take another snapshot. You'll notice it's naming for us. So now perspective 1, we'll hop over there, and you can see we're on our shadows are forced on, specific layers are turned on and off, and there it is. Alright, so there's perspective 1, and then here's perspective 2. So the idea is that you don't want to have to turn on all of these settings and then create your perspective scene, because they're kind of heavy. So what we do is we use the perspective tool on the design tab, and that allows us to move around really quickly. And so like if I were to add another one from above and say like, alright, here, let's check this out, add a perspective there. So I don't have to go and mess around with all those different dialogues. Okay. Also, if I were to delete one of these, the perspective tool automatically picks up where your numbering should be, so that's kind of a nice new feature. Now let's talk about adding an interior perspective. So let me get myself into the house. I kind of swing in and set myself up in a view that I want to create here. Alright, so that looks good. Now notice how gray the ceilings are. When you create an interior perspective, it's ideal to have your shadow settings kind of flip-flopped. So you want the light to be dark and the dark to be light, essentially. And then use sun for shading is what really makes that happen. So when you look at it, that's what makes everything kind of lighten up. So a common complaint is that interior perspectives have dark gray ceilings. So if I hold control, you can see that my guy kind of hops inside there. So I'll click once to add another perspective. I can just look around the other way, and we'll orbit around and maybe back up and check out this staircase. And then we'll add another perspective. So again, I hold control and click. So now you can see my shadow settings on perspective 4. My lightness is at 0, my darkness is at 100, and same thing with 5, because those are interior perspectives. And when I get back outside, you can see that we have different shadow settings happening. So just a nice little shortcut with the perspective tool. You hold control, and that allows you to optimize your view for interiors. Now, as with anything that the CONDOC tools are doing, this is really just jump-starting the process for you. It's completely editable, configurable. So if I decide I want to set my eye height at maybe 5'6", I'll type in 66, enter, and that's going to drop my eye height down. And then I'll just kind of look up a little bit at this structure, and now I can always just right-click on my scene tab and choose update. It's very easy to modify the CONDOC scene tab. So anyway, give that a shot. Perspective tool is pretty nice and easy, and we'll cover creating the cartoon set and adding those perspective views on that last tutorial.